Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of GreatMillStone who rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. It's Pious Allah from the GMS London camp, coming back at you once again. This is a prophecy and news. Now, this is a major prophecy that's going to play out in these last days that's equated with World War III in the scriptures, alongside the RFID chip, okay, and the reason for the prophecy of Zechariah the 5th chapter, man. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna get into this video. So let's go.
The Space Force. The Space Force. Does that make sense? The Space Force. We may even have a Space Force.
President Trump has mentioned the Space Force a couple of times, and what he's alluding to is an ongoing debate in Congress that is creating a separate military service that focuses on space and military space capabilities.
Space is a warfighting domain, just like the land, air, and sea.
The U.S. has become increasingly reliant.
So who's in space that he said it's a war fighting domain? Now who's in space that they can fight against? Really, some may say the Russians or but really they going back to what Ronald Reagan said those many years ago in the 80s about the Star Wars program. He mentioned that an outside force coming up against the nations, the world, the rulership of the so-called white man, okay, Esau, who the Bible describes as, according to the Bible, is known as Esau, tells you that it all come together to fight against that one alien threat, okay? So that shows you who the real threat is, okay?
On space capabilities for military operations across the full spectrum of conflict, from fighting terrorists in Iraq and Syria and Afghanistan.
We need to protect the American people, and security is going to be a very big factor with respect to space.
In 2001, there was a special commission created by Congress. They call it the Space Commission. And the final report of that commission recommended eventually transitioning to an independent military service for space. Warfighting in space is not like Star Wars, and it's not Space Marines. It's nothing like that. There are no military, service members in space fighting in these. It's all remote. All of these are unmanned satellites that the military uses. It's always been unmanned in space. All of our manned space programs have been civil space programs. They've been through NASA.
We have the Air Force, we have the Space Force, we have the Army, the Navy.
There are a lot of things that President Trump has said that other presidents haven't said before, but the U.S. military is critically dependent on its space capabilities, and it's something we have to take seriously.
At some point in the future, we're going to look back and say, how did we do it without space?
It would take several years, even if the decision was made today. First of all, for Congress to decide what to do, but then also to implement it once Congress has made the decision. I think it will take at least 5 years, maybe more like 10 years, to transition to a new military service for space.
Because we're
These are really capabilities.
getting very big in space.
These are really capabilities that already capable of, okay, because he said it would take about 5 years. Well, that this was mentioned in the 80s by Ronald Reagan, so it's more, it's more than definitely there. They got all the technology they need to want to play out this prophecy. So this is This is Revelations 12:7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Okay, and this sign they're aware of. It tells you, and actually this verse, it tells you in its chapter, Revelations 12:12, about the devil knowing that he has a short time, cometh down with great wrath. So basically he's aware because he sees the signs in the heaven, being the so-called UFOs, being the chariots of Israel, and he knows that's a curse that goeth forth. So he's more than prepared and ready and able, and really not, well, able to implement that space program, Star Wars program, really to fulfill this prophecy. Okay. So it reads on, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. Okay. So this is when talking about NATO and the EU and all the nations, all the other nations come as one to fight against Yahweh Shai and the heavenly hosts, saying they're going to be taken out, wiped out quickly. Verse 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay, so it says the old serpent. Who's the old serpent in reference here? Speaking of the serpent pertaining to the garden. Okay, who when the serpent was cursed, what was the judgment passed upon the serpent? It was told that it eats dust. Now, if that was an animal, you'd have serpents out here, snakes eating dust, and we know they don't eat dust. So it was talking about man. It was figurative in speaking of a man, and the dust was figurative in speaking of confusion. Okay, because this man eats up confusion, so much so to the point he confuses his own damn self. All right, called the devil, okay, deceiver, and Satan, the enemy, okay, the adversary, the enemy of truth, okay, which deceiveth the whole world. The whole world's being deceived. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the face of the judges thereof. He's deceived the whole world into believing that other, Jesus, okay, that it tells you in 2 Corinthians of, oh man, how can I forget this? That the God of this world, if any be blinded, if any be lost, it's because they're blinded because the God of this world has blinded them, basically. All right. So reading on, it says, which deceived the whole world, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed, Yahweh Shai, HaMashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Father, Yahweh, day and night. Okay, because they basically set up, they got their priests and whatnot praying unto the name of the Heavenly Father, accusing us in all our shortcomings of the law, which again is caused by Esau, man. So he's accusing us, but he's the main perpetuate, like the one that perpetuates his wicked. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. So we didn't overcome by the keeping of the law, but by the grace of Yahweh Shai bestowed upon his elect men. All right, and by the word of their testimony, they love not their lives unto death. So some of us are gonna have to die for this, and in that process, we're not gonna love our lives. So that means we're gonna deal with a lot of hardship. Okay, but the point being, they're fully aware. You got Trump out here saying all these things about the Space Force become a reality. That's definitely gonna, I don't know, not to their effect, but there's definitely gonna be some form of a force in space, being what the Bible speaks of, the heavens, because there's 3 different types of heavens. There's a heaven as a state of being upon earth, there's a heaven as the sky, and there's a heaven, the 3rd heaven, being space. So there's definitely going to be a war in heaven, and there's going to be a so-called space force that's going to want to gather up and fight against the Lord and his angels. So with that, man, I pray you're edified. Shalom.